I hope you are doing well. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes for people to go ahead and get on. Welcome to Journaling with Intention. We meet on Sundays at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Hi, Alicia. How are you doing today? I saw those beautiful pansies you made that you posted. They are really, really gorgeous. And I hope you guys had a fabulous week. And I just want to say this week, my focus, what I'd like to focus on is two things. One is when you're just really not feeling super great, like how do you kind of maintain this? Because this is week 5 for us. And sometimes when you're doing things over and over and over again, you're like, I'm kind of losing steam. You're losing your motivation and you're losing your focus. So I want to talk about focus. And how do you maintain that and how do you keep going? Or if you've kind of like taken a step off, how do you get back on the track? And then the second thing I wanted to do today was to build some tabs. So we've got a lot of different pages that we've built. I'm going to review all of those. And I wanted to show all these tabs and how we can create tabs in order to quickly find pages that we're looking for. So I would like to know in the chat how you did this week. How was your week? So again, for those of you who are new to the channel, this is Journaling with Intention. And the purpose is that we are taking a moment to think about all the things that it is that we want to kind of focus on in our lives and take a moment every week to jot those down, to build those habits and to set those up very, very well. So hi, Saskia. How are you doing? Hi, Anne. And hi, Tracy. I'm so glad you guys are here with us. Feel free to share this out while we are live and see if anybody else would like to join us in Journaling with Intention. Hi, Tina. It's so nice to see everybody. So let me know in the chat, how did your week go? So mine was a little crazy. So where I am, we just ended school, so we were on a school break. And so, of course, all the stress kind of gets to that one point. And I'll show you my day, my week. And it was like stress, wicked stress. And it kind of kept on going. So it was one of those things about, well, how do you keep up? Especially when, you just need a break sometimes. So how did your week go? So let me know in the chat how your week went. Yeah, right, Tina? Mine was a little hectic too. It was a little crazy. So it's kind of a good study to take that pause. And that's why I like doing this every week, because it really forces you to take that pause and to say, all right, this was my week. What were the things that went well? What were the things that, I need to refocus or to get back on track with? And that's why we do this every week, is to support each other, to get those intentions. And so, and to make sure that we're following through. So now that we're at week 5, sometimes newness of things wears off. And it's like, oh, I'm not really so super sure I want to go in there. And how do you kind of maintain and keep that focus? Oh, good job, Anne. You're off of oxygen. That's amazing. And Saskia, yep, my week was stressful too. I think it's also just the weather up here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's getting into, that time, at least for me, March, where I live, is always a little bit kind of a doldrum month. So it's not so super exciting. And Alicia, decent week, walked extra. Oh, good. I did too. I got a lot of steps in, but poor kiddo was sick. Yeah. And so your schedule's different, but what's great that you were able to maintain those habits, even though things were shifting in your life. And that one is really super great. All right. I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down. And what I would, for everybody, if you grab your journals out, we're going to go ahead and get started and pull out those materials that we've been using for the 5 weeks. I would also love to know if there's anything that you would like to focus on, if there's anything that you would like to go over or add into our journals, let me know in the chat and or leave me some comments and let me know what you would like to see on our show. So like I said, 2 things we're going to do this week. So I'm going to review what we've done. I'm going to show you some ways to make some tabs for our journal. And then we are going to set up our week. And this is an opportunity, now that you've done 4 weeks, is there anything within the tracker that you want to change? Now that you kind of got a handle of the things that are working and maybe things that aren't working, this is an opportunity to change your tracker so it fits with what you want to do. All right, so let's just review all the stuff that we have done in our 5 weeks. And again, this is a great point. I always like to do this because it shows what we've done and maybe some things of where it is that we want to head to. So this was, so we started off with a focus for the year and kind of made this, I did this on a die cut and then put that in as a little circle. And then we talked about our monthly intentions for January. So we had our month of January, but we started that last week in January, but we still got a little bit going on in January. Then we had February. So this is our month of February and having our monthly intentions for February. And now we've been tracking in February and we've added a couple of things. So one was all the things that we need in order to help us to stay grounded. This is another month in February. Another week in February. This was the gratitude page. I added in a couple of extra circles. I've just been kind of playing around with this. And this will be our next one. And then we're going to head on our next week. We're actually going to be setting up March. And that's a great idea, Tracy, to add in some positive quotes and affirmations. That was something I was thinking about today, but I thought the tabs might be helpful because I'm noticing that I can't get to my pages quickly. And granted, I only have a few so far because we've only been, doing approximately 4 pages each week. But I realized it probably would be helpful to have some tabs in there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get started on tabs. And I'm going to write down first, what tabs do I need? What are the pages that I need to make sure that I have down and that I note? So this is going to be different based on your journal and the thing. So I'm just going through and I'm like, well, I need a January. So these are tabs. And so one thing I need is I need January. And then I need a February. And I also need a stay grounded. So I need, this is my grounded page. And I also have my gratitude page. And because, Tracy, you're right, we're going to go like forward in this. And so we'll have some like positive quotes. We'll call them affirmations. And we'll make those 2. So that right now is 5. And we're going to need one for March. So we'll make a 6th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So I'm going to share with you guys, I'm going to share with you a stamp set. It's not available. There are other ones out there, but I'm actually going to end up creating my own and making my own. But if you're interested, this is it. Or 1 tab for current month and 1 for gratitude. Yeah, that you could move around. That might be nice. To Tracy, if you had one that you'd move around. I'm going to keep them so mine are the same. And I'm going to add them up on the top. So I want my tabs to be on the top. I don't want my tabs to be on the side. I'm going to have my tabs be on the top. And so because I want them on the top and I'm not planning on, I don't want them to shift. I'm not going to peel them off and move them around. I'm actually going to make smaller tabs. So this is a stamp set that I use a lot. And unfortunately, I don't have an example. Usually I have an example of these lying around, but nothing's within reach that I can grab right now. This is called Kelly's Scored Tabs, and this is off of Hero Arts. And there's a newer one. This is from 2016. This is an oldie. And so what this does is it has a size up here for a smaller tab and for a larger tab. And it cuts out, so it scores the middle and it die cuts the tab, and then you just fold these in half and you just put in a little bit of double-sided tape, and these will hold. They're beautiful. This is what I actually use for organization. These are really, really great. And then, yes, exactly, Tina. So grab those tab dies because you might have them around, and this is what I would use. However, I noticed that these are probably a little bit too big, and these are neat too because it has these stamps that you can use for the back side or the front side, and you can, there's even sections where you can actually write in what you want that tab to be, or you can just make them colored or color coded or whatever you want to. So you can actually stamp that paper and then you can die cut them out. However, if I end up using these on the top, my tabs are going to be too big. And I realized I could make them and then cut them in half, but they're going to be kind of funny because there's going to be this piece on the side. So I'm just going to make my own tabs. Which I like doing that kind of a thing anyway, because then I can grab pieces that I want, but I wanted to show you that this is an option. So if you, Saskia, Altenew does not, as far as I know, they do not have tab dies. The only ones that I have found are from Kelly Perky, and she seemed to have had anyway a collaboration with and this is, it's EY. She had a collaboration with Hero Arts. I don't think she does anymore, but so like I said, these are from 2016, and then I believe they updated this. So you might be able to find them around if you're looking for something like this. But like I said, we're gonna make our own, because that's what we do around here. When in doubt, you problem solve. What is that? Necessity is the mother of invention. That's what we are doing, kids. We're doing necessity is the mother of invention. All right, so I'm just going to use my scissors. I'm going to use my scoreboard, and I'm going to use a bone folder, and I'm going to make these dies. If you want to, and I kind of do, I want them to be rounded, so I just grabbed out that corner rounder, and I know this is the corner rounder that probably everybody has, because did we all start out in Creative Memories? And so I'm just going to use my corner rounder because I want them to be a little bit round. You could also get like a square die or something like that. That would work for you as well. So I got my bone folder, I got my scoreboard, I got my scissors, and I'm going to grab a pencil, and we're going to sketch out exactly what it is that we need. And the one thing I don't have is a pencil. All right, I got a pencil. I don't have a pencil sharpener. Here's one. All right, so what I have to do, so when I do this, what I'm looking for is what size do I ultimately need? And then I'm going to have to double that because I'm going to fold these in half. And I'm making 6 of them. So I'm going to try my best to work this through. So because I'm doing this on the top, and the total top of this, I believe it's 5. So I'm just looking. Oh, I don't have centimeters on this one. Saskia, I'm switching for you to make sure that I have centimeters. Actually, this doesn't have centimeters either. Oh, because I found my centimeter ruler. Here it is. I don't know if you know this or not, Saskia, but I actually do better in centimeters than I do better in the metric system than I do in the English system, because I'm just used to it more than, because I hate the English system of measuring things. All right, so I'm going to avoid my little thing over here. So this I'm going to say is approximately 5 1/4. All right, so this is 5 1/4 inches. So I'm saying that this total thing in centimeters is about 13.5 centimeters. All right, so let me just write those down. So I got 5 1/4 inches, or 13.5 centimeters. So that's the total width of my book. So how long, how much? If I'm going to have quite a few of these, I probably want my tabs to be, I'd say, about 1/2 inch. And just to give you a perspective, these tabs are 2 inches. So this will make a 2-inch wide tab, or Saskia, this is going to make a 5 centimeter wide tab. All right, so I'm going to go to about 1/2 inch. So this is going to be able to handle like about a letter, but I want to have this kind of small little bit popping up, and I'm just double checking. Yeah, it's about a 1/2 inch. So in 1/2 inch is about 1.2 centimeters. So I'm going to go approximately, what did I say? 1/2 inch. Oh, it's about 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. All right, so that's what we're doing. 1 centimeter or 1/2 inch on this one. And again, I want them to be small, so I'm gonna have to like color code or figure out what those are or tab them over. All right, so on my page, I'm gonna use my ruler to measure these out. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and use them in centimeters because I think that would make, because I only have to do one. So remember that I want them to be, I gotta double them because I want them to be, to fold over, and I don't want them to come up too high. So I probably want them to come up. And if I lose you at any time in my thought process or my math, please let me know. All right, I think I want them to be, all right, I'm going to make them an inch. I'm going to make them a centimeter by a centimeter. So that's, so I want 1 centimeter. Okay, so these are going to be 2 centimeters by 1 centimeter, if that makes sense. So it pretty much is going to be in 1/2 inch by 1 inch, approximately. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So bear with me on just a second. 1.5. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to go out and I'm just going to start to make little marks here. I'm just roughing this right now. Now I want these to go down 2 centimeters. Here we go. All right. And usually what I'll do is I'll go like about, just to make sure that this is going to fit, I'll do like a little bit of a rough cut. And what I'm going to do is take these, and I think I just realized my scoreboard is in, oh no, it's on inches on both sides. Sorry, Saskia, I got to switch this over to inches. All right, so I want it to be 1 inch here. And then I'm going to go 1/2 inches on this side. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, missed one, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Okay. So I'm just going to double check that this is going to work here. These are going to be small. I think these are going to be too small, guys, but I'm going to try it anyway. All right, so where this is, right at the 1/2 inch, I'm going to score this. All right, so now I'm going to cut this off. And I would just cut right along these 1/2 inch lines. So this is my thought process, is that this would be a tab. Can you see that? So that's my little tiny tab. So if you wanted to make this bigger, you definitely can do that. But that's about the size that I'm looking for. And so when I have this closed, that tab is going to stick up about that much. And that was what I was looking for on that one. So if you want to make yours bigger or taller or whatever it is, but that's what I'm going to do. I have to say, I don't think I'm going to be able to use my corner rounder, although I had it as an idea there. All All right, now I lost my tab. Oh, there it is. All right, so I'm going to cut the rest of these guys because I've already scored it. And I'm going to cut up. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 6. So these are the 6 that I need, that I have. All right, so now I'm going to grab a little bit of score tape. And this is something I probably could have done before I cut everything out, but that's okay. I'm just going to grab a little section of score tape. And this is a little bit of the tedious section. Is you're going to have to put a little piece of score tape on the in and outside. So that goes right there. Then we get another little piece of score tape on here. And so that's where my score tape is going to go. And I'm using the Altenew score tape, which sometimes does not behave. Okay, there we go. I'm using the Altenew score tape, and this is at 1/4 of an inch because my tabs are so small. Yeah, I would say definitely, Tracy, if you're doing this down the side, I would make these bigger. I think 1/2-inch tabs is going to be too small for that. I would try the 1-inch tabs. You could probably even go to 2 because on the side, at least in my book, I think it's 7 or 7.5 inches. And so just be mindful of that. Just try, grab a piece of paper, measure it out to the size that you're looking for, and then try that and see how it goes. I don't know why I have this. All right, my score tape is not behaving, but we will get it to behave. Oh, I see. All right, so off camera, I don't think you can see it, but I'm just cutting little tiny pieces, and then I'm just kind of sticking them on. You also can just stick it on and then cut it off if you want that way. This is a place where you could also use your, when we label these, you can use your label maker if you have very, very tiny font. I'm just going to write it in, and I'm going to color code it a little bit with my pencils. I'll show you what I'm going to do when we get there. So all I'm doing, and I'm keeping the backing on because I want to play around with these a little bit. So I'm keeping the backing on. And if you want me to show you any of those of what I just did because it was a little confusing, let me know. So again, we're just making tabs because we have so many pages right now. So I'm just making tabs with this. If you wanted to get really crazy, you could have a tab for each week. I'm not doing that. I'm kind of like just going to be ballparking because we have some of those gratitude pages and they're embedded within a month. I'm okay with that because I kind of know exactly where my month is going to be roundabout-ish. So if I'm looking back to February, I'm going to know where I want to get to. All right, so here's my last little guy. All right, so this has all the tape on, so when I bend it in over, it's really not a big, huge deal. Okay, so I'm just going to reinforce all of my scores. And then because I had written on the backside, or I drew a line on the backside, I have to get rid of that. So I'm just going to take a second. You probably don't have that, but I'm going to take a second to get rid of my pencil lines, which is not a big deal. I kind of did them very, very lightly. So you're not really going to be able to see them that much. And it's my journal, so whatevs on that one. All right, let me know. Are you guys making tabs? Is this something that's going to be helpful for you to kind of get you a quick reference? And I was thinking about that because I'm like, if I really want to get back to that gratitude page or I want to get back to my grounding page, but it's September, I'm flipping through a lot before I get over there. So I thought this would be helpful to have these tabs. So let me know if you are doing tabs. So I had those extra pencil lines. So I am just coming in and I am just making sure that those are erased. And so I reinforced the score and now I'm just erasing pencil lines. Again, reinforcing the score and then erasing pencil lines. I don't think so, Tina. I don't think that's cheating. The idea is that you have quick access. And so if you already have like books that like sticker books that have tabs in them, you go and use them. This is just one way, again, that we're thinking about utilizing our supplies. So feel free to make it. I always kind of do that, or used to do that a lot, where I would just make it. I would try to figure out a way. That's what we do, right? We're good with paper and glue and inks. So if it's made out of paper, we typically can think of a way to do it. Plus, this is a little engineering. It's one way to think about it. So you're kind of building and creating just in a little bit of a different way. You could do this with pattern paper as well. I think that would be really pretty. I just use the white, and then you can stamp on this. You can put flowers on this. Do whatever the heck you want to do with it. I'm just going to make it really simple. But I'd say, Tina, if you got this, and I probably do, honestly, Tina, have something over there that has books. I just didn't notice anything that was this small. And that's what I was looking for was tiny. I just wanted them to be smaller. And I noticed that they're all like 2 inches or more. So I just wanted them to be a little different. Okay, so now that I have these, I'm just going to take a second to grab my 6, move them over here. I'm just going to clean up my space because I got eraser and all kinds of stuff on here. So I'm just going to clean up my space. Okay, so now I got my 6 little guys. So I'm going to decide which is front and back, who's doing what, where, why, when. So here's my 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so I have all of my things down. All right, so as I go through and look, well, I did January in red. So I'm going to grab my red marker or my red flare pen, and I'm going to put a big J here. And I'm also going to put a big J on this side. Now, you guys are about to tell me that how many months have the letter J in them in the English alphabet, the English words, and you were going to say, well, there's 3. And I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to put a J-A. So 2 ways that I know this is J-A. Now, thinking about that, June and July have J-U. So I'm going to go ahead and add that 3rd letter. And that's going to be something that we're going to have to keep up as we move along. So there's January. Ta-da. And then when I did February, so that was January. When I did February, it was also in red, but it was a little muted red. So let me do this one. So now I'm going to make my February. So nice big huge F. And then I'm going to have EB. So I'm going to keep that going where I put 3 letters, 1 big one and 2 smaller ones for the month. And let's face it, we all know what's coming, March. And of course, I have to pick green for that one. So here's March. So I got those 3 done. All right, so now that I have March, I have grounded, gratitude, and affirmations. So grounded, when I did that one, this one was kind of in a blue, but my affirmations were also in kind of a rainbow blue. So what I want to do is I'm going to do grounded in this brown. So that's grounded. And then I want to do a bright blue for gratitude. And then affirmations. What do you think, Tracy? What color should we pick? Purple, right? Purple, right? Purple, purple, purple. I think I want this purple. All right. Okay. So now this is going to be tricky because there's no way I can write grounded or gratitude or affirmations in this really, really tiny, small things. So I'm going to write, kind of do the same thing where, let me see, grounded, ground. If I do grounded, and this is up to you, what makes sense for you. because that's kind of grow. That's cool, right? That's gratitude. And then I'll do affirmations as AF. How about that one? That looks good. So grounded, I'm doing in affirmations is purple. So A, affirmations. And you can make a key if you wanted to on the inside of, cover, so that way you kind of know where these are. But as you use this, it's going to make sense. And then notice that I'm also doing color coding in addition. So not only am I doing this, but I'm also with the letters, but I'm also color coding it. All right, gratitude, 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 and then grounded. And I have to say, one of the things that's been working is just having this little cup with all of these pens. I've been appreciating that. Okay, and here is grounded. All right, so those are all of my little tabs. Now I'm going to make a decision of, do I want to, you just put in a little color on this? I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep them white and just let the ink do it. I was going to use just a little bit of blending on there, but I think it's going to be too much and I won't be able to see it that much. So now I'm going to go ahead and do all these. So I'm going to find the page. I'm going to get January. So here's my month of January. And you can decide where it is that you want to put it. I kind of don't want it to be on my focus intentions. I'm going to put it where the month page is, but just understanding where these are going to be. You also can decide if you want to keep them all in the same space or do you want to stagger them throughout. And I'm actually going to keep them all on the same in this corner because for the most part, none of the corners I've really ever done really had anything in there. So then you just take off your release paper. Here we go. And I'm just going to make sure everything is ready to go. And I'm just going to figure out where I want to line this up. And I want to put it here. Is this the height that I like? Is it straight, etc.? Once I have that, I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. So this is what it ends up looking like. So now I have this little J that's right there. It's really cute. And then I can flip right over to that month. And then there's my little January. And it's all ready to go. So here I'm going to do February next. And again, this is really, I like this because it's really nice and easy. These don't take that long to set up. And again, because they're small, or I made the ones that are small, they will, they work pretty well. And again, you can stagger them or you can keep them in the same order. Or if you want to, you can keep the months in the same place and then stagger the other stuff you add in, which is actually what I might end up doing. Okay. You always do want to make sure it has enough. So it's hitting the paper so it has enough to attach to. And then I'm just going to bring that down. Sometimes what happens is they don't end up being exactly the same height, but they are pretty close. And if you don't like that look, then feel free to stagger that. All right, so I'm going to do March next. So this is my last month, and then we're going to have our March. So I'm going to go ahead and add in March right here. So I know we're doing March next week, so I hope that you can join us and spread this around throughout the week. Let people know. I've been kind of telling people about this, friends and people I come into contact with, just because I think it's been helpful for me. So I appreciate you guys being here. It's been nice to have this time because it really makes me kind of pause and stop in my week to say, hey, this is time that I need to take to set things up and get me focused for the week. All right, so now what I'm going to do here on this page is I think I'm going to stagger these. Because these are a little bit different, I'm going to stagger them over. All right, so that's my gratitude page. And then this is my grounded page. All right, and I have not made an affirmation page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide right now where that affirmation page is going to end up being. Okay, so that's my little grounded page. So this is my gratitude page. This is going to be this week's page. And then I have this being our March page, which means this is going to be my March, like, first week. So I'm going to put my affirmation page right here. So I'm going to go ahead, because I have this tab already, I'm going to determine that, say, hey, this is going to end up being my affirmation page. So Tracy, we may not get to this next week, but we'll definitely do this in week 7. If we don't do it next week, we'll do it in week 7. And we'll put an affirmation page. And that gives us homework if you want to collect or start collecting quotes for this affirmation page. That's a great thing to do. All right. Yeah, this is cute, right, Tina? And I feel good too, because it's like I did it, I set this up. So I have these little tabs, so I know exactly where to go. So when I'm having that, like, oh, I can just look right here and say, okay, I need that grounding page. It's brown, and I'm going to go right to the grounding page. Or I need that affirmation page that's purple. I'm going to go right to there. Or I know that I need that gratitude page. I'm going to go right here. So it just gives you an idea to kind of float in and get to all of these things. All right, so let me know how that went for tabs. Really super easy to make. And like I said, you can get stamp sets for them. But I just, for me personally, because I wanted the tabs up at the top of my book, I wanted smaller things. This book as well, I don't always have them, but this book came with an elastic band. So I've been using this to kind of like put in exactly where I want to be. And it also has these little ribbons. She ends up with 2 ribbons, so I can put them around. So that one's kind of nice too. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look over. This is the other piece, is like, okay, now you got 5 weeks of tracking. Is there anything that you feel like you need to change, that you want to track, that you have wanted to track but either isn't working, or that you want to rearrange how you've been doing your tracking? That's what I'm kind of curious on. So this week, I actually did pretty well with my steps, because these 2 days were very, very busy for me running around. And then I was up and down, but I was mostly up with my water, so that was good. And again, I'm not really doing much crafting, so I think I'm going to pull this out, and I want to change this up and not really track that anymore, because it's not something this is not helping me to focus on. I'm just not at the point yet where I'm using this. I guess I'll put it that way. So I need to focus on some of the other things that I'm tracking, get those set, and then I can pull this back in. This mood tracker, I have to say, was the most important thing, because I had to see, I went in for just an annual conversation with my doctor, and this we found really, really helpful. So then we could kind of track it with other things that are going on. So she can be like, well, why? What's happening? Where are you getting headaches and all those kinds of things? So this has been really great. So I want to keep this. I like the graphing. I'm going to change this. And I wanted to do, because this week, I'm off school, so my meals and things are going to change. So I'm thinking about changing this up. I want to try a different layout to see if this works. All right. So let me know in the chat if you're thinking about changing up your layout and doing something a little bit different for that. So that's kind of what I want to do. And I didn't get a chance to color my little stamp yesterday, my little stamp this past week. I wanted to say, last time that we met, we worked on the gratitude page, and this is a little bit still in progress. So I have to continue to color my bubbles. And then I added some smaller bubbles in, just to make it look like, I don't know, more of a cohesive thing, and not like I got 4 big, huge circles with a rainbow on here. So I just added some smaller bubbles in. So I wanted to share that with you guys, that's something that you can put in as well. Feel free to change that layout. I still want to add some clouds in, so I'm going to use the cloud stencil. I just haven't gotten around to that part yet. All right, so this is our week. And so let me see. This is the 20th. This week is the 20th to, I think it's the 26th. Is that right? Yep, to the 26th. So that's our week. And so I've been liking the monochromatic 75 gratitude circles. That's good, Tracy. That's good. I've been kind of liking the monochromatic scheme. So I wanted to pick like yellows and oranges because I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to go with oranges on this one. Just because I haven't, it's February. It's still in that pink kind of grouping, but I haven't done that yet. All right, so let me grab some washi tape. So I'm looking for some thinnish yellow washi tape that's not glitter. I'm trying not to use glitter. I got this nice green one though. That green one's really nice. Ooh, this one's really nice too. So again, I'm just digging through putting some washi in. I think I'm going to go green. I'm going green. Ooh, this one's nice. That's an orange. Maybe I'll put those together. All right, so let's see what we got. I forgot I had this too. There's some orange. That was an impulse buy, I have to say. But it's one of those things. It's just nice to have a lot of thin washi tape. So that was totally an impulse buy. But I think I want to use this green. This is really pretty. All right. So the way I start this is I just grab some washi tape. And all I'm doing is just making a border up here. And I'm using that dot grid pattern in order to stretch this across to make a title for what I'm about to do. And I'm going to change it up just a little bit. And this is not the stickiest washi tape. So if you end up with not sticky-ish washi tape, because washi tape is meant to be, not a super permanent adhesive, is you can always add a little glue. I just got to get it on my page in the first place and as straight as possible. And then I can just add a little glue if that does not want to stay down. All right, so I'm going to use that green. So this is February 20th to 26th. Okay, so that's our week. Now I'm going to keep, so like I said, this side keeps coming up. So we're going to give it a little persuasion to make sure that it stays down. And that's where the glue comes in. That's my persuasion. You don't have an option now. You must stay down. Right? Okay, so now I'm going to take, because I want to mix and match this a little bit with the orange and the green. I'm going to take this orange. I think this looks pretty cool. Just mix and mash my washi tapes. And I'm going to put this roundaboutish in the middle. That looks about right, right? Again, this is not the stickiest washi tape. Okay, and I'm just going to grab some scissors and I'm going to cut this loose. Let me know, are you changing up your layout this week? What are you trying that's going to be different for you? What's going to be a little bit different? Is there anything different that you're trying to track? Is there anything different with your layout? Do you want to add more colors? This way, like I said, I'm trying out these two different colors. All right, so I just realized I don't have my label maker. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to write on this, and you can write on this with Sharpie. So these are, tacky. So if you used a ballpoint pen or if you used a Flair pen on this, it's just going to wipe away. But because the Sharpie is alcohol, that is going to stay. So I'm just going to put this right here. There we go. And I abhor things that are not straight. So I'm just trying to get this to be as straight as I can. Again, using the dot grid paper in my notebook, that helps a lot too. All right. And I like using the washi tape because it just makes this really, in my opinion, it saves time for me having to draw the lines, but it also is just really pretty. And let's face it, we have a lot of this stuff, and we have a lot of it. So why not, right? Why not? All right, so I'm just going to put in here habit. So I'm going to start, so the T is over on this side. I have to write these out or else I will misspell them. So I'm just going to write it on my little paper under here, habit tracker. All right. Tracker. And because I have to spell backwards, I always end up missing things. All right, now I'm going to give that a second to dry, and then I'll show you that that does not rub off. If I use the flare pen on here, this will smear and rub off, but the Sharpie does not, and that's the beauty of Sharpie pens. They're kind of like the stays-on of pens, in my opinion. Love Sharpies. All right, so that's my habit tracker. So that one's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my graphs. So I just grabbed my ruler, and I'm also going to take out my trusty stencil as well. So this is that Altenew Color Swatches stencil. Love using this because it really is great. It has all of these different sizes of these rectangles, and they are just really fabulous for this type of a thing. All right, so this is going to be my title. And if I want to keep it straight, I'm just going to move this right across. And then I can have it in the same, somewhat of a same location as before. All right, so those are my two titles. And now I'm going to track. So this is my water tracker and also my stretching tracker and my steps tracker. And my graph doesn't have to be anything fancy. I am literally just drawing 2 lines. And making sure that they work. And that one is not going to happen that way. So you saw that I couldn't draw on top of the ruler because I just didn't have enough room. So I just put my ruler up so I could go the other direction. All right, so here's my same thing. And here is where you want to think about what your goal is or what your intention is for the week with each of these habits. And that's the numbers you want to put in for your x-axis, for your y-axis. So for this side right here, how do what's the scale you're going to use for this? All right, so this is my water. I put in my days. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I love having this by the day. Again, graphs are really just a great way to visualize data. It's just a great way to see how it is that something is working. And you can see it almost instantaneously. So my goal is for 80 ounces. So I'm going to put that up goal here. And then I'm going to take this and I'm looking at about what is halfway. And this looks about halfway-ish to me. So then I put my 40 ounces and then I look halfway between these two. And so that is going to be my 20 ounces. And you can do the same thing here. And that is going to be my 60 ounces. So I'm just kind of eyeballing where those would end up. And on this side, I am doing steps. And I'm also doing stretching. So stretching, I check off on the bottom if it's happened or not. And then steps, my goal is 8,000. And then I do the same thing. So 4,000 is about here. And then half of that is here. And then half of this is around about-ish here. And if you're like, I can't do that, then you use a ruler and you just measure what is about halfway in. And that's that one. All right. I'd love to know, is anybody using these graphs? Have these been helpful for you? Have you been making the graphs as well? Anybody using graphs or making the graphs? All right, so now I'm going to use that mood tracker. I'm going to keep that the same because that has been really helpful. And I just use that stencil and I just put in my little blocks here. And I need 7 of these to represent each day. Okay, so that's my 4. And all right, and just if you could just let me know in the chat that you are out there and you are, how is it going for you? Are you setting things up? What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I got 7. We got graphs. Good, Tracy. Have you been finding that those are helpful to use those? The graphs. What are you graphing in your graphs, Tracy? Okay. So this is my mood. All right, so over here, I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently. And what I want to notice is I want to try, now I think I'm ready to try different types of exercise. And so I don't care about how much I do. I just care that I'm doing something, I guess is the way that I point. So I don't care about the amounts at this moment in time, except for the steps. I care about amounts of steps. But here, I want to try something. Am I swimming? Am I walking? Am I biking? Am I going to do whatever it happens to be? So I'm looking for me to do something that is like outside of the house. Because when I'm on vacation, sometimes what happens is I become housebound and I just want to stay in one place. So what am I doing that's physical activity or an activity each of these days? And that's what I'm going to measure on this side. All right, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to do it in a similar way. And I'm going to move this slightly over to the side. Yeah. Oh, Duolingo classes. That's great. Yoga and how many Mountain Dews you drink. That's great, Tracy. So you're actually looking for those for the graph instead of like me where I want those numbers or I'm looking for those lines to be high. You're looking for those lines to be low. And that is a really great visual. So if you're trying in that case of, quitting or decreasing one of the habits, then a graph is definitely a big helper there. Okay, so that was this big guy. Okay, so this I'm going to label daily event. And it could be exercise, it could be an activity, it's something else that I'm doing outside. So what I come in now is I start putting the days in on the side here. So I'm going to start over here. So Sunday is the 26th. So 2, 26, 25, 24. I'm going to do that same over here. And I'll just make like a little box to grab and put this in. And because I'm using up the orange and the green, so then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do these other ones in orange. All right, so this is 23. And this one is 220. This is a little peach, so it's a little bit of a different orange. Just because I have the pen colors and I want to use them. That's what that is. I really like this color scheme. It's nice and bright. It's kind of happy. It's a little bit of a happy color scheme. All right. And Duolingo classes per day. That's great, Tracy. Tracy, what languages are you trying to learn? And have you found Duolingo to be one that helps out a lot? All right. So this one I'm going to do a little bit differently. And what I want to do here is I'm actually going to set this up with my days on the side. And I need to be a little bit better because I tend to not, I either don't eat and then I eat like one larger meal when I'm on vacation. I'm not as regimented. So that's what I'm trying to do is how can I kind of keep this as regimented as I possibly can. So I'm going to grab a little bit of sticky washi here. See if I can grab this orange. This orange is pretty nice. This is not the best, most wonderful washi. Here we go. And I'm just going to make this go right like this. So I'm going to set up a grid pattern with my washi tape. I'm going to come right over there. There we go. Again, using those dots to kind of help me out with where I want to go. All right, so that's my first one. And I'm going to set up my next one. I'm going to set this up into 3 columns. And then I'm going to move it across and make 7 rows. And again, this is just a different way of looking at things. And I'm using the washi as a way to make this a little bit easier so I'm not drawing all these lines. And it makes it colorful and fun. All right, I'm going to put this one right here. There we go. And I got one more to go. All right, I'm just going to put this roundaboutish in the middle of those. And I know I'm not measuring these out, so they're not perfectly aligned, but you get the picture. Wow, Dutch, French, and Spanish. That's great. Good for you. I am not a language person. Now, this washi tape is a little bit thick, so I do want thinner tape. So I'm actually going to keep repeating the green that I have up on the top. And what I'm going to do here is I got to set up 6 of these. So I'm going to put in 6 pieces of tape. So just to make sure, because this is a lot, I am actually going to use my ruler just to make sure I'm roundaboutish where I want this to be. So it looks to me like these are going to be about 1 inch. So I'm going to grab that pencil that I had before, and I'm going to very, very lightly just put little lines here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then that will be my 7 down there. So I'm going to end up with 1 space for each of the days of the week. All right. Okay. Again, this washi is, sometimes my washi does not want to collaborate well. That's great, Tracy, that you're getting all those languages in. I myself, not good in the languages, traveled a lot of places and learned what I needed to learn in order to move around and get where I needed to go. But that was about it. So I could say hello, goodbye, and how much, and where's the bathroom. That's about it. All right, so you can notice that my washi tape is peeling up here. So I am going to glue those down. I'm just getting all of these down first, and then I'll come in and fix everything. Okay. Now, what I was recording before is I was recording things like my bedtime, because I needed to connect that with how my mood was doing, and I'm doing better there. So I feel like I'm okay to move on. And like I said, I when I'm on vacation, I tend to not be as regulated, especially in food. All right, so I'm just using a little bit of persuasion here to make sure these guys stay down because they have a tendency to not do that. Here we go. And I like using the washi tape for sectioning off because it just brings color. And it's a great way to use up your washi tape because we all bought it because it was pretty and we liked it. And unfortunately, sometimes it ends up languishing. So this is a great way to use that washi. I like this color scheme though. Love to know if you picked a color scheme or are you sticking with rainbow? What did you end up doing for yours? Okay. Yes, for the intentions that more of a challenge, we could make larger time. You do already Dutch. It's probably good language too. Nope, the math I got there because I do use centimeters and liters and grams. I have a better idea exactly what a gram is. Although Saskia, I gotta tell you, I was living in London, and I went to the grocery store, and I was going to get some sliced turkey and ham for sandwiches, and it was measured and the price was like per 500 grams, and we don't do that in the States. We do it by, I wanted like a quarter pound or a half pound, and I couldn't, and they didn't have internet, at that time on your phone. So I had the hardest time trying to figure out what I ordered. And I think I walked out of there with like 2 pieces of turkey. It was like, why did I bother? But you live and learn. You live and learn on that one. I did better the next time I had to go and order it. But yeah. And then the fruit, when you have to buy fruit by the gram, I guess, or kilogram, I kind of know what a kilogram is, but I was like, that one was a little bit harder for me. All right, so I'm going to add my days in. So this is Monday, 220. And I'm just following the same color scheme that I have over here. So this is Tuesday, 221. And I'm thinking about this as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I could add this up as, do I want to track food? Do I want to track sleep patterns? What it is that I want to track? But I thought this was a different way. And don't ask why I went from capitals to non-capitals, but all right. And then Thursday. Okay. And I'm doing my last 3. All right, and my last one, Sunday. There we go. So now I'm all set for the week with everything that I want to track. And I hope that you are all set up too. So like I said, what did we do today? Well, we took a look back. This is week 5. And the conversation was when you, now that we've been doing this for a while, sometimes newness wears off and you're like, what do I do? What do I, how do I kind of keep going with what I want to do? And it's that same thing that we've been talking about little steps by steps by steps. And we talked about today, we made tabs for some of the special pages that we have created so far. And we changed up our tracker. So where my tracker had been looking like this before, I changed it up a little bit to use more of the washi tape to create grid patterns, just to give myself a little bit different, a different way to track. And I'm going to keep some of the things that worked. I'm going to change some of the things that aren't working. So next week will be week 6, believe it or not. It's going to be week 6. If there's anything that you would like me to include, so we already have that idea of affirmation, so we will include that in a later show. If there's anything that you want me to include or to discuss on the show, just leave me a comment on this YouTube, and I will work those in. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here, and I hope that this has been an experience that these 5 weeks have been helping you and helping you to get on track with your 2023. And I always think about that, we have these, New Year's resolutions that we set. And for me, like by the end of January, that's done. But this is something that I've been able to do. I get to incorporate things that are fun that I like to do, like using paper and stamps and kind of some fun things. And I put those in here. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for sticking through with me and for coming. And please share this out to anybody that you think would be helpful. And so I wish you a absolutely fabulous rest of your Sunday, and I will see you here next week as we tackle week 6. All right. I hope that you have a fabulous week, everybody. I'll see you later.